And we're live again. Still in the dungeon. We're let me see, I don't know. There we go. We're in Barcelona, Spain. This might be the last. I said this last time. This might actually be the last live stream of the day, friends, because yeah, it's as fun as the day in Barcelona, Spain is, the night's even more fun. You can walk around in t-shirt weather. So the fun will begin soon. It's actually almost dinner time, isn't it? An hour from now. So you are saving. I've saved the best for last, is I guess what I'm trying to say. No, thank you. Friend, it's good to see you.
Very good to see you again after all those years.
Years and years before. The last time we saw each other was BC, before COVID.
Before COVID, yes.
You just said something. You just said something kind of interesting, which was the last time I was one of the last Americans you saw, because we might have seen each other in January of 2020.
Yes, it was January 2020. Yeah.
Yeah, and then stuff happened. You know, we're all locked down for a couple of years, and then here we are. Fast forward 2023, springtime in Spain. Spring in Spain at Barcelona. Yeah, it's a pretty good life.
One of the best.
Yeah, nice, fun. BC. Oh yeah, it's been a weird year. Nice pun, BC. Oh, I get it now. Sorry, my brain. I'm sure that was obvious to most people. That was a nice pun, but my tiny little brain has been working overdrive today. There's a hamster in a wheel that is just giving up. Hey, Mary, good to see you. How are you, my friend? She's around here somewhere. I think I saw her.
No, she is here.
Yeah, she's around here.
Where are you hiding?
Where's she hiding? I don't know. We're in the dungeon. We're kind of like, we're, come join us if you want. We're around here. I don't know. We're Sala track 4. That's what it was.
Track 4, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, long time. Good to see you. You work on what?
Well, I'm a developer advocate at Elastic. Elasticsearch, Kibana, the usual things that you probably have heard of.
The Elk stack.
The classic Elk stack, even though we have added lots of stuff around it, but the Elk is very hard to kill, as we have found out, because it's such a catchy name.
But wait, why would you kill it?
No, we wouldn't kill it. Or at some point, product, I think, tried to say like, oh, we are more than Elk. We have beats and all kinds of other things. And then we kind of like tried to invent this thing we called Belk or Elk bee. And it was actually a bee body with elk horns. But it's a fun logo, but the elk is kind of like lasting longer.
I feel bad for you because it's like, yeah, I understand what you're trying to do. I get it. But good acronyms, you don't want to throw it away either.
Exactly. And we are back on the elk because it was just impossible to kill.
Are you an elk herder?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
I have we probably even have some stickers of that. I'll get you a sticker afterwards.
Yes, please.
And also because more products and more letters, like we couldn't find more animals. Like after Belk or LP, we were done. So we're just elk again.
That's okay. Nothing wrong with the originals. It's you could just say you're elk plus, like.
Yes, we are, exactly. That's what we are nowadays.
Yeah. Okay, I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. Okay, so tell us about. I mean, like, I don't know. If you're live today, you know what elk is. But
Good.
For the one or two people that don't, like, what is Elasticsearch? What's the story there?
Right. So long time ago, in 2010 or so, we started with Elasticsearch, and if you're searching on Wikipedia, Stack Overflow, GitHub, if you call in Uber, if you search on Tinder, there's always Elasticsearch in the background somewhere. Like, it's good at storing lots of data and finding relevant stuff.
Is it a text database, or is it?
It is a full text data store.
Okay.
Nowadays, with all the hype around vector search, we're also in that.
Okay.
So we are kind of like cutting edge with all the latest stuff.
Nice.
But it's searching relevant stuff in lots of data. And initially, that was full text search. Then we branched out to logs. That's where lots of people know us for the elk.
Logstash and Kibana.
Logstash and Kibana and Beats and all the other things that we have around that. Because
what is Beats?
Beats is like a lightweight agent or shipper. So Logstash is JRuby, which is very powerful, but it's more like an ETL tool.
Right.
But you might not always want to run the JVM everywhere. So Beats is written in Go, so it's like a small forwarder. Well, some people in other weird programming languages, they might not want to have the JVM on their machines.
Have you tried shipping GraalVM native images?
We should, actually. That is potentially giving us the new life.
Same great flavor, no fat.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the resurrection of the Logstash.
Let me know.
Yeah.
I'm happy to help. I'll point them to the GraalVM.org website and everything. Yeah. help them with the tools. It'll be like a 5-minute chat, but it'll be fine.
A quick prep talk to get us started on
Right.
that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
So we started with the search part, and then logs are also kind of a search problem for us because you want to find the relevant stuff quickly. And that's where we got into logs. And then it was the full observability suite. Nowadays we do security as well because that's also like events.
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
bad happened.
Oh dear.
So we have the full spiel of tools combined.
Right. Okay, good. So it's just it's all about finding, isolating, and reacting to data. Is that
Yeah, it's like searching large amounts of data and finding relevant stuff quickly.
Right.
With whatever technology you want or whatever problem you have.
So I mean, in a way, you're actually delivering on Google's.
Well, we are
Organize the
kind of
world's
like your Google, your private
Yeah.
Google. Yeah, exactly.
My
And
my Google. Yeah.
you
okay.
you want to keep your data private, or you have whatever custom information, we are happy to store that and then retrieve that and find that for you.
Now, another thing. Most of these, if not all, are all open source. If you want them to be.
So
Right.
we've had this short episode where we relicensed. So we stick to the term free and open. So you can use the stuff for free, but we have added a clause that you cannot edit it or offer it as a service.
Okay. Right.
We've had little run-in with one of those small cloud providers that kept selling our stuff instead of us.
That old yarn.
Whatever happened there.
Yeah.
So we have a license clause that says you cannot offer it as a service, but if you do it yourself, you can do whatever you want. But you cannot earn money with our stuff.
Okay, I get it. Okay, so it's out there. It's people can use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's not hard. I think we're okay on that. Is everybody okay with that? Let's move on. Good. So where our story connects is I want to connect to that, right? If you have a database in the forest and nobody writes to it, did you actually write to it? And the answer is no, you didn't. So what we want is some way to query that data and connect it to our applications. I think a lot of people are going to like the Spring thing as a way to build applications. It's got legs. What's the story there for people who want to integrate with any of these aforementioned components?
Right. I think we had a hack session in Kiev ages ago in 2018 or something like that.
Fun. Yeah.
I barely remember. But
speaking of hack, what does your Twitter name mean?
Yeah, my Twitter handle is Xiera, which is slightly weird, and people are never sure what to make out of that. But it's a rot 13 of my last name. So if you rotate the letters of my last name by 13, then you end up at that. And yeah, no, one R double A, one E, one R.
Wait,
you didn't rotate correctly.
I did not. Right. So Twitter.
It's E double one R double A.
Okay. Take three.
That's if you rotate my last name.
Right.
And it's pretty unique, so I stuck with that.
Right.
So coming back to the client.
Kiev.
Yeah. So
poor Kiev.
Yeah, poor
I
Kiev.
hope you and I get to go back there.
I really do. So they had some awesome conferences.
Amazing. Yeah.
We should. So you want to write to that. So Elasticsearch generally has an HTTP API.
Right.
So you can write to it yourself, but you probably don't want to do raw HTTP. So we have clients, and then Spring Data. Elasticsearch is luckily a thing. We have somebody who is doing that from Germany, from the community. We're very thankful, PH, to maintain that.
Yeah.
So you can use Spring Data, and it's just like doing the right stuff.
Okay. So what about the Elastic? What about the observability side of this discussion?
So right.
Are there integrations there?
I think the world is kind of like standardizing on OpenTelemetry.
Yeah.
And we are fully supporting OpenTelemetry, the OTLP protocol.
Yep.
So whatever you instrument, micrometer or whatever else you have, and you spit out.
What else is there? Come on.
Right. What else could you do? You spit out OTLP, and we can ingest that and store that for logs, metrics, and traces, and give you awesome visualizations of that.
That's amazing. Okay, good. See, this is like, so what are you talking about here at Spring IO?
I did a workshop on OpenTelemetry.
Whoa. Okay, talk to me. So what does that look like? So OpenTelemetry is an effort that was led by folks at first from Google. Is that true?
Yeah. So I think there was Open Census from Google.
Yep.
And then there was the standardization effort, and now it's a CNCF project, OpenTelemetry.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing is it's not just a standard, and the network protocol, but also the instrumentation. So you have a vendor neutral implementation that you add to your application, so you don't have our gnarly vendor specific stuff in there. I always compare it like to like a logging library. You don't want to like log specifically to Log4j or Logback or whatever.
You want SLF4j.
Exactly. You have a facade. You
Yeah.
talk to SLF4j. Or in Spring ecosystem, it's a micrometer, and then it has multiple backends.
Right.
So you have kind of like the abstraction of the abstraction.
Well,
since micrometer can do multiple backends.
Yeah.
But
it also predates open
Yeah.
census and open telemetry by years.
Right. So it kind of like is what plays well into your ecosystem.
Yep.
In other languages, not that we want to use those, where you don't have micrometer, open telemetry is really that promise that you have a vendor agnostic implementation, and then it's kind of like the open telemetry is doing the instrumentation.
Right.
You spit out the open telemetry protocol, and then different vendors can take that in, and then everybody has efficient storage, different visualizations, machine learning and alerts to let you know that something is off with your application. So
Right.
that's kind of like where I think the environment is headed, that we standardize on open telemetry and micrometer, and then different vendors have different ways to work with the data that you got out there to keep you up and running.
And that's the OLTP
Yeah, that's the
encoding,
protocol.
and
Yeah,
that supports HTTP and gRPC.
exactly. So you often have like the so-called open telemetry collector, which
Yeah.
is like a proxy. So your applications could send it there and to centralize it, and that then can send it out in OTLP, or the agents could
Right.
do OTLP directly as well. And then you just throw it at the right vendor. They will store it and do all the magic for you.
Where the right vendor here, friends, is very clearly
This is
Elastic. Let's be very
Elastic.
clear.
Yep.
He said it like there was others. They're not. I mean, they may say it, but we all know what's happening here. We know.
I'm European, so I'm always holding back
Diplomatic.
yeah,
Yeah.
diplomatic and holding back a bit, but yes.
I kid, but also,
Thank you.
yeah, no, I'm a fan. Actually, we've got people. We've got former Spring team
Yeah.
people in Elastic, and
Yeah,
for years and years.
Costin,
Costinelle, yeah.
he's still there.
Still there, of course. I know.
He moved to the US though.
I know, and I got to see it. We'll talk about this later. Anyway, he's an old friend, and like he's speaking of Romania. We were just talking to a fella from Romania, and anyway, Costin is now living not too far from me.
Yeah, across the bay.
In the Bay, yeah.
You can basically watch him.
If I'm home or he's home, then yes.
Yeah.
He came to a party we had. It was great. I love.
Nice.
Yeah, I have missed him so. He didn't die or anything. He's fine. I'm just saying, like, I've missed him just because we haven't had the chance to work together in a daily way. Now he's nearby, which is great. He's a legend. If you ever used like any of the support for Redis or some of the Spring Data stuff, or if you used Apache Geode, the original Gemfire support, or if you used just a countless, endless list of things, that was some of Costin's many contributions to the Spring portfolio over the decade that he was, almost decade, I guess, that he was with us.
Nice.
But he's been at Elastic now for even longer than that, I think, right? So
I'm not sure about longer, but yeah, it must be 9 years or something like that. He's also a dinosaur at this point.
yeah.
He has done the original Elasticsearch Hadoop stuff
Oh,
back in the
right.
time when Hadoop was the hot stuff.
Oh no, it's not like I was part of a company that was founded on Hadoop. No. People forget Hadoop, but that existed. It was a thing that people did on purpose.
That was a thing at some point, yeah. Looking back at it, it's interesting. It's a bit like soap, no?
Is
Where
it?
You look back at it and you're like, how could we, or why did we?
I don't know about that. I think it was just that we've gotten better primitives. Like
That
MapReduce.
might also be true.
MapReduce is not the API I want to use, but like I think
No, it filled a problem, or it solved the problem back in the day.
and it showed us what was possible, but now I think that, well, first of all, very few people are dealing with Yahoo's like petabytes of data. So
Is Yahoo still dealing with petabytes of data?
Yahoo's not dealing with anything. Are they still around? I don't even know. Are they? I have no idea. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
To some degree, I think, but yeah.
I hope they are. They were one of the best. I mean, there was a time when working at Yahoo was the cool job, right? It was the place to work at in Silicon Valley.
And Hadoop was the hot shit.
That was like a decade later, but yeah, same thing. That was amazing stuff, born in the cradle of
it's like
one of the search engine giants of the planet, Hadoop's amazing. A lot of good stuff out of that community, and then the stuff on top of it was also great. HDFS is still everywhere, right?
Yeah.
whether you're
Some
using
parts
it
are.
or not. Yeah. So anyway, moving on. Elasticsearch is, I think that was kind of interesting. You mentioned 2010. Actually, that was right in the middle of all of this big
Yeah.
discussion
Yeah,
around
yeah,
big data and NoSQL and all that, where machine learning hadn't become very hot yet. AI certainly wasn't a thing that we were all talking about in the vogue and the zeitgeist of popular discussions and conferences and whatever. But we had big data and we had machine learning. Well, we had big data and
that was the time of big data, right?
Yeah. And so I remember Elastic coming out as being it was a NoSQL optimized for big data, right?
Yeah.
Like it was and actually there was a Lucene, which is a search engine from Doug Cutting.
Yeah.
Same guy who did
Lucene is the library Elasticsearch is still
I
using.
know. Oh, still, yeah, of course. But there's also
the foundation.
There was also Nudge, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which was the
Apache project, yeah.
So is there any relation there, or is that a completely different?
I mean, they can talk to Elasticsearch, but Nudge is, I think, mostly for crawling.
Okay, it's the crawling part. Right,
it's more for collecting the data, and then you could store it into Elasticsearch, because wasn't Doug Cutting's original plan, I think, to have a Google-like open source implementation where you could have something to store the data and then to retrieve it. So that was kind of like the
search engine.
The idea that where it started, which that didn't work out, but it gave us a lot of other cool stuff.
Right, a lot of cool stuff. Yeah. So there's been, was that before
and also
Doug Cutting?
And also Hadoop was a Doug Cutting.
Well, of course, yeah. But I mean, was Lucene? Did he create that? He did, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so like Doug Cutting, really, he's still a force to be reckoned with. But there was a time when he was the power broker, he's like Sam Altman is today, in the AI world right now.
He kicked off a lot of cool projects, yeah.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, so Elasticsearch, 2010. I mean, actually, it was a little bit earlier than that. I remember. So there was Compass.
Yeah, that was the first implementation. Compass 1, Compass 2.
Who was that?
Shai Bannon.
Another amazing.
He's also still around.
Of course. Didn't die. He's still doing amazing things.
No, but still around at Elastic, so he is still pushing us forward.
Good.
Which is great. And yeah, 3 seems to be the lucky number, because we didn't do Compass 3, but that was Elasticsearch, and that really caught on.
Yeah.
And I think a couple of the tricks were that it had a REST API, because the other ones were just Java libraries. And then REST really opened it up to all the languages and environments. That was one of the smart things. And having clustering and distribution from the get-go.
Right.
Those were the 2 things that really hit the right point in time.
And made it an appliance as opposed to an API, right?
Yeah.
Being an appliance in the world of IT is a big deal. It's a good idea if you can do it, Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, that's how it all got started when we were still young.
Younger, yeah. Well, okay, so here we are. Fast forward. It's 13 years later. What's happening what's the thing that people should be looking at in the latest and greatest, whatever?
I mean, we have the security stuff, but that's maybe a bit of a different crowd, so I'll skip over that.
You want to mention it? It's fine.
I mean, we do have the security product. So if you need a CM, like it's mostly storing events and finding whatever bad stuff happened. That's the security world. But that's a different crowd normally. So we have observability, often through OpenTelemetry, finding data and making that relevant. We've had a lot of optimizations around that recently to make storage more efficient, or also queries more performant. But one of the main hotnesses, I think, is search right now, around vector search and ChatGPT. Exactly. Since you were talking about that, I don't always want to lead with AI, because it gets so buzzwordy, and it's like everybody's just like, I mean, okay, I have developers written on me. I could put AI on me, and it would be the same thing at this point.
Or prompter. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, it's the thing. Everybody keeps asking about it. It can do amazing stuff. So we are fully committed on vector search and pushing us forward there. That's because search has learned new tricks.
So if I could do I could build a ChatGPT plugin that uses the vector search.
You can retrieve the data in a vector search. So because the classic problem of search was it was very token based. So you had a specific word. Yeah. And then you could look up the word, or you could define your own synonyms. But the machine learning models can extract more the meaning behind the sentence and what is going on. Right. So you have a much richer model which you can work with. And then you can do the K nearest neighbor search. It's like the general vector search feature that you have. And that's what we can do. So we can basically take your inputs, text or pictures or audio or whatever, store the vector representation, and then find similar things. And it doesn't have to mention the same tokens, but it's similar things. So that's what we can do around vector search. And Josh is so popular that he has to take selfies all the time.
Well, the crowd just got let out of
the crowd was released, and then Josh is in high demand.
Well, no. So anyway, sorry. So that is amazing. The fact that Elastic's already got something shipping that can help you with that.
Yeah.
Right when it's most opportune. Like that's the power of good open source engineering.
And the good thing is that it's kind of like added to all the existing features.
Yeah.
So you don't need to reinvent the wheel or get all new tooling and start from scratch, but you can just plumb that on top of what you already have. So
amazing. Amazing. How do you make money?
Yeah, we do have a cloud service. We do have a couple of commercial features in our stack.
Elastic.co.
Yeah, cloud.elastic.co.
Yeah.
co.com, that's not us, is our cloud service. And we have a serverless offering coming as well, because everybody wants serverless nowadays.
Everyone, except for Amazon.
Yeah, well, nobody wants to maintain their databases, so
No.
we have to do serverless,
Right.
which will hopefully make all our lives easy. And because you love production the most, and then you can just deploy quicker to production.
My friend, thank you.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I look forward to catching up with you. And let's get back to, like I said, let's meet again, but let's
without a pandemic in between.
Or a war zone. Let's go back to Kiev.
Yes.
Let's find a way safely.
Yes.
When it's safe.
Yes.
And well, when the community is back there again,
Sounds like a plan.
it'll be awesome.
Cool.
All right, my friends, thanks for hanging out. I hope you got something out of this. It was fun. This is actually going to be the last live stream of the day. It's got to be the last one. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
It might not be the last one. I don't. I can't know.